Welcome, everybody.
We're happy that everyone is here. Perfect evening, perfect couple to get married, and a perfect day. David has now become part of our family. It feels like he's been part of our family for 20 years or so. But Gillian had a process to get him to understand all the nuances of our family because it's pretty strange. And before I go any further, I want to ask all the guys here, do you know how to remember your wedding anniversary? Anybody know how to do that? Forget it once. No second time. We've done everything we possibly could to bring David into our family, and he's done a great job. And Gillian, we got her so far. David's had all the time the last 7 years to get her further along. It's probably going to take another 50 years at least. I remember way back when Gillian was doing things like throwing up all over the floor, peeing in couches, doing things, wetting her pants and all that stuff. Things that we really shouldn't talk about, but that was when she was 21. And now I don't think she does that anymore, but I'm not perfectly sure. Appreciate all of you being here, even though I say family and friends, to me you're all family. You wouldn't be here if you weren't part of our family. And so it's very special. And thank you so much for the au pairs who have become part of our family forever. And we're blessed to have you. And what would make this occasion even better would be if everybody had the best time of their life. Thank you.
Cheers.
So as most of you know, well, some of you know, I am David's older brother, but you couldn't tell by looking at our hairlines. But obviously it's a reflection of wisdom. So David and I, we did most of the same stuff growing up. Hockey, bowling, golf, baseball. So we had a lot of opportunity to fight, which we did plenty of. Yep. I admire my mother's patience as we called her at work many times just to tattle on each other.
On 2 different phones.
I don't know where all the bruises came from, but I think David just walked into a lot of doors. Lying. All the little fights meant so much to us at the time, so we had to make sure to give it our best. We fought over the silliest stuff, like who was going to have the top bunk, and then after that dissolved, who was going to have the bottom bunk, who was going to get the better boom box, and who opened which almost identical Abercrombie shirt for Christmas, which we had to go to the video camera for replay, and I was right. And the staples that he had to get on his head, I promised we were playing football.
In the house.
I knew, though, that many times he was right. I would just never admit it. And naturally, absence makes the heart grow fonder. So after I graduated from high school and we spent some time away from each other, we got a lot closer. And it made me realize what I really thought of him. I remember going back when he graduated high school, and at the ceremony, everything was normal, but by the end, there was an issue where he didn't get his diploma because of a sheet music issue with the band director. He just had to get it later. And so we're sitting up there in the almost empty bleachers, looking down, and I remember watching him just give it to the guy, just yelling at him. And I remember thinking, I'm sure that whatever he's saying, it's well thought out, it's well supported, and I bet he's right, because most of the time he was. And so here we are.
And that brings us to today.
Yep, that's right.
No comments from the audience. I was just trying to.
No, she's helping. Do you have Xanax? It's been easy to get to know Gillian, despite the fact that my brother and I are 1,300 miles apart. At one point, I was trying to urge him to come down to Florida. I wasn't sure where he was or what he was going to do, and I thought it would be great to have him around, and just start his life there instead. But obviously, there's work and there's family, and also Michigan was home. But it felt like there was something else that was there, and it was this something stronger that was guiding him, a small flame that was burning inside of him. And he had to make sure to explore it to see if he was right. And sure enough, that is what it was, at least mostly. He found his angel and he knew it. I'm not sure where all this music enthusiasm came from, but I appreciate it. I do, as I am just as obsessed about my own band. Not my band, the band I'm obsessed with.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
So it's inspiring to see how they've embraced this new obsession and how they can share it with each other. And it's so easy for them to share in these moments and these experiences with each other. So it's gone so far that he's actually going to miss the Michigan versus Michigan State game in Ann Arbor. Oh, Notre Dame, sorry. My notes are wrong. He's going to miss the Michigan versus Notre Dame game in Ann Arbor, and he's going to go see this band. So there's a free ticket, and I'm available.
Very, he's very There's a stand
There's-
available.
No, I'm selling all four.
I'm sure that will make you some money for sure, especially with those seats. But it's been an honor to get to know this family. I feel like Barry's my best friend and he doesn't even know it. Not doing anything that weekend. And there's no livelier moment than all of the moments spent with Rowdy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. You're welcome. No, thank you. But we're honored to be so thoroughly embraced by your family. And we are so excited to have your family part of our family and to do this together. And if I have one piece of advice, or I guess it's three, but it's really only intended to be one. Always be passionate, be affectionate, and each day prove to each other through your actions that you're in love. To the newly wedded couple.
Good evening. I'm not going to hold up the food because I know the food is going to be coming out pretty soon, so I'm going to make this short and sweet. But before I give my official speech, I'm from Pontiac, Michigan, and I've attended many weddings and what have you, and there's a time where they read the best wishes from those who could not make it. Because as of present, the wedding has been broadcast worldwide through Facebook, and there have been over 2,000 people who have watched the wedding. And here are some of the comments that were passed along to you. From Janice Diane Bowden, Mrs. Bellinore's sister, oh my, OMG, beautiful. Maggie Mahaffey Dialman, have a wonderful day, much happiness to the newlyweds. Terry Fenner, absolutely breathtaking. My sister, Terry Hansen, divertirsi, have fun. Linda Engler, best wishes, Gillian and David. And Sally Watkins, please give them all my love and tell them Ali is great. We are loving having our grand dogs home while they're having a great time getting married. Just a few comments. There are many more, but to get to the speech, it has been my distinct honor and privilege to have known Gillian since she is 14 years old at Detroit Country Day School. I was her advisor, and what that means is I'm kind of a school parent for her. So I have to thank Robbie and Barry for allowing me to sub in for you from 8 o'clock till like 4 o'clock in the afternoon to take care of anything that would come up. And although many of you have come to me and offered me some extra incentive to spread some of the word of what her life was like in those high school years, I have to assure you I will not share those specific items tonight. But yeah, you can come later and I'll tell you all about it. But at any rate, as her advisor, it was, like I said, really a privilege to stand in and try and help out. And I will share with you one of her favorite expressions. And first of all, she was one of the only students in the school that called me Joe. Everyone else called me Mr. Hansen, and I was the dean of students in charge of discipline, so many students call me something other than that. But Gillian was the first one to just call me by my first name, and today it's just a natural thing, and I really appreciate that. Another one of her favorite expressions was, Joe, it's so unfair. That she would come in and complain about Mr. Beaubeer getting her a dress code detention. But it was unfair. And since those years, it's been really wonderful to see, and this is the hope of any teacher, to see a young man or a young woman grow up and to develop into the human being and the adult that they were meant to be. So, it's good to still be in contact with you. It's a pleasure being here in this beautiful environment with a lot of new people that I've met, some fresh old faces that I've known from Country Day times, and just an honor to be here. And getting to know David. There have been a few times when we've all gotten together. I think it was Seattle, wasn't it? And it was what was it? The Breeze, the place where we went for a few drinks. Bahama Breeze. Yeah, we went to Bahama Breeze for a few drinks. So that was the first time I got to meet David. And David, let me assure you that and I don't think I need to explain this to you because here we are today, and you are married and you have a beautiful wife, and I don't think that I need to tell you that you've made a great choice. That goes without saying. And likewise, I think, just to give you another bit of advice, when Gillian makes up her mind, it's a solid deal. So I think she's made up her mind. So I think you're good. I think you're good for a while. Now, as a language teacher, I was going to say something in French, but as when in Rome, do as the Romans do, as they say. I would have said in French, bonheur et longue vie au couple. Long life and good fortune to the couple. But I had a little help with my Italian. So if you could all raise your glasses and repeat after me, the language teacher. Tanti auguri. E lunga vita. Alla coppia.
Hello, everyone. Just one more speech, I think. I think that's it. is all you have to go through. So for like, I think what is probably the 17th time, I'm going to thank everyone for coming. So again, thank you for coming. We were trying to figure out who traveled the farthest, as one does when we do one of these things.
How many times have you done one of these?
Well, it's not. That's neither here nor there. Where was I? Oh yeah, distance. So there are two kind of tied finalists. My family, who came from Florida, specifically the ones from Fort Lauderdale, has traveled 8,000 kilometers. And Barry's family, the cousins, traveled 7,500 kilometers to get here.
Wow.
But then I realized something. I have family from Michigan who flew to Florida to then fly to Rome because the flights were so much cheaper out of Florida. And so they traveled about 10,000 kilometers. So let's give it up for the Smiths over here for traveling the farthest. We did use Google Flights to find them. So now Joe kind of stole my thunder a little bit because I was going to do something in a foreign language. I was going to say something in Italian, something that really shows, how I feel, and it's il pesce è andato male, and that means the fish has gone bad. I'll figure it out later. I don't know what that was. That was something else, I guess. Anyways, Gillian and I, we really took two different paths to get here. I have spent my whole life looking for what I might call my soulmate. Constantly trying to find someone to be with, and having, going through that process. And Gillian is very aloof about the whole thing, and she just kind of didn't bother looking for anyone until her friend made her a profile on a online dating site, and that's where we found each other. So she still never made the effort to do it, but I found her anyways. Yeah. It took us years to realize that that this was it. That this was going to be a forever thing. I think maybe at least 3 or 4 years to really realize that. Most people were probably married in their relationships by the time we figured out that we wanted to be together for a long time. Not to mention, getting married. We never really had anything in common, but we knew we loved each other. So we tried to figure out how to make it work. We both had to learn a lot over the time that we spent trying to figure out what we had in common, discovering new things, figuring out what we were going to do on a Tuesday night when neither of us wanted to do what the other person wanted to do. And we've learned how to do things like working as a team. And Gillian's learned, and you've heard in her vows, Gillian learned about how to deal with life with a big family, a big extended family with lots of people who she had to learn. And I had to figure out how to deal with life with a small family where everything is always intertwined, and every day you're talking to the rest of the family because it's such a small family. So we both it was very much a learning experience for both of us. And the nice thing about the whole process is I kind of taught her how to deal with my family, and she's taught me how to deal with her family in a good way. Deal with is probably not the right word. So let me stop. We discovered a lot of new things together, and
Yeah, we're listening to this, okay?
we're gonna edit this part out, okay? So we, as I was saying, we've shown each other a lot, and when we kind of meshed together our loves of different things and our different worlds. So, and nothing really shows that as much as a night in 2016, where we went out to Detroit and we had to go to a benefit at the African American History Museum, which was a formal benefit. Bow tie, tux, formal dress, the whole thing. Well, we had tickets to a concert that night. So, so we went to the benefit. We went to the benefit. We were all dressed up and everything. And we were trying to figure out when it ended because we wanted to go to this concert. We wanted to catch the second half of it if we could. And fortunately or unfortunately, if you're me, they brought out the first course, and it was a salad with a walnut dressing on it, and I didn't know this. Backstory for everyone, I'm allergic to walnuts. So I eat this salad, and all of a sudden I realize I need my inhaler, which is in the car. And I figured I could get back in. Apparently there was no re-entry to this benefit, so when we left, we had to leave. So eventually we had to leave so I could go get my inhaler, and then we went to this concert, and everybody there was just telling Gillian how wonderful she looked in her bright pink formal dress at this concert, where most people were probably wearing maybe 20% of what she was wearing, put it that way. So we were all really dressed up, and everyone was just fawning over her like she had planned to go to a concert in this formal dress, but no, it was just because we had to go to a benefit. So both of our lives really meshed together that night, and it's just been all of just that learning experience, and all of the learning experiences since have been absolutely wonderful. And through that, we've created this life together that I absolutely wouldn't give up for the world, and I'm just so incredibly happy for you to be my wife, and for you two to be my parents, of course. Thank you so much. Thank you for everything you guys have done.